Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends with a special upload for you guys covering all the news of the day, and there was quite a bit to get to. I want to start with some really big news here on the arena. Now, previously, I want to say 2 weeks ago, Plarium came out and said that they're kind of happy with the arena right now the way it is. We kind of gave you a heads up. This is Plarium talking to us. We gave you a heads up that things are going to change, things are going to get more difficult as we weed out accounts because of the new algorithm, and they basically stood their ground. However, I saw on Instagram today, by the way, follow me, Clash_with_Ash. I do mostly non-raid stuff, just kind of personal lifestyle stuff, I guess, for the most part. Me and my son, stuff like that. If you want to follow me there, again, that's Clash_with_Ash. But anyway, this dude here says, what's his name? Fariz Rahadin says, I hope you guys fix Classic Arena soon so I can start playing it again, essentially. Raid responds and says, hello, Fariz. We understand how important Arena is. We're working actively on a couple changes, the first of which is planned for around May release, so in a few days, weeks, whatever, and that will be, it concerns tweaking the matchmaking algorithms in bronze and silver tiers. Stay tuned for more details on those. Olga, signed Olga. So, you know, we don't have a ton of information regarding that, but I will like it, you know. Can I like that? Oh, there we go. I will like it because, you know, that's good news. It's way better news than them not doing anything. Now, we also received news about a big Void rebalancing. We're going to talk about all of those champions today. I'm going to give you my opinions on, you know, will they be a lot better, just a little bit better, or does it not make any difference? I have some pretty strong opinions, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so as we jump into the rebalancing, a quick note here, new dungeon stages, they go on to clarify that only the new stages will have additional passive skills on the bosses that limit the turn meter decrease and enemy max HP damage. So level 20 through 25, expect to see those changes, and of course levels 1 through 20 will remain the same. Now in terms of new champion strategy, what champions will you be using? Are Coldheart, Armiger, Royal Guard, Septimus, Husk, are they useless now, or are they still going to be viable? I have a video coming out on that and talking new strategies with Murder Inc. in a day or two, so make sure you subscribe. Turn on your bell notifications to be alerted of that fresh content. So, Void Champion rebalancing. So they're rebalancing a bunch of Voids. We knew this was coming, and now we finally have the information. This is happening allegedly next week, so, or in a few days essentially. So, Visix the Unbowed, glad to see her on the list, right? Glad to see her and Whirling Frost King. So, I'm not going to go back and forth with all of these champions looking at their old skills because I think I have them pretty much down in my head. So, let's go ahead and speculate here. Visix now has an 80% chance to decrease the target's turn meter by 15%, up from 10% on her A1 with each hit. You'll love to see that. On the A2, skill has been redesigned. It no longer places a shield on her A2, but instead it will place that ally protect on all allies for 2 turns. That makes more sense when we get into the A3. A3 used to attack one enemy, right? And place a provoke on one enemy. Who cares, right? Now it's attacking all enemies, places a provoke on them for 1 turn on a 3-turn cooldown, and then the A3 places a shield on herself equal to 20% of her max HP. So Visix the Unbowed definitely way more viable than she was, way better champion overall. I think this makes her really actually solid, and I'm going to be doing an updated guide on her. I think this justifies an updated guide as well, so expect that next week. So moving on to Whirling Frost King, guys, this is the big one in my opinion. I am so excited for Whirling Frost King. I think it's going to be one of the better support champions out there in the game. Let's talk about why, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think as well in the comments below. First of all, I've always been a Whirling Frost King defender, right? Not the best Void Legendary, don't get me wrong, a little underwhelming seeing as how he was a Battle Pass Void Legendary champion. You never want to pull a Whirling Frost King. With that said though, I think he's a decent champion, right? An average Legendary champion. Now I think he's going to be way above average. Let's talk about it. On his A1, effect has been added. Place a Veil buff on the ally with lowest HP for 1 turn if the target resisted the freeze. So it used to be if he lands his freeze on his A1, you'd place a perfect Veil on an ally. Now, if it's resisted, it places a Veil with the lowest HP on the ally. And if it lands, it's a perfect Veil, right? And it's been increased, for 2 turns as well. So really solid there on the A1. Frostbite Blast. That's his AoE that does the decreased crit damage, increased crit damage, and now it has decreased accuracy as well, and the debuffs cannot be resisted. So you don't really have to build him with accuracy. Well, I guess you do for the freeze, right, on the A1. But even if you're resisting the freeze, you're still landing a Veil on your ally with the lowest HP. So why build him with accuracy just to get the perfect Veil instead of the Veil, right? To me, you don't even build him with accuracy anymore. Actually, you need him. No, you don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it because the other debuff, decrease crit damage, neither of them can be resisted on the A2. So no more accuracy needed on Whirling Frost King. And then this is the big one. Icegrave Armor is the ability that gives the strong version of increased defense in the strong version of Strengthen to all of your allies. That's now going to be, it was already a 4-turn cooldown because of the books. Now it's going to be a 3-turn cooldown. So really, really big news there. We get a Strengthen and increased defense on a 3-turn cooldown. Those are two of the strongest defensive buffs you can give to anybody, and now both of them on a 3-turn cooldown. That's really, really useful there. I think that alone is going to make Whirling an incredible champion to have, especially progression, but really anywhere, even in the most difficult areas of the game. We also have a new aura. Used to be 30% defense in arena battles. Who cares? Now we have a defense in 40% in Doom Tower battles. That is an insane aura for Doom Tower as well. So think about it. On Doom Tower, you slide him in as your aura lead, especially progression. For a lot of you guys, I think that Whirling Frost King is going to be a progression or a plateau buster for Doom Tower, right? Now you have an amazing aura. 40% is huge, right? You have that amazing aura. You have the 3-turn cooldown Strengthen and increased defense. You have the decreased accuracy. You have the decreased crit damage. You have the increased crit damage. And then you have the Veils and the freeze on the A1. Man, he's bringing a lot to the table there. Solus. Speed increased to 97 from 87. Defense increased to 120 up from 105. That's his level 1 defense, I'm assuming. So I did a little quick math before this video. I'm thinking it's around 1430 to 1450 range, his total defense overall now. That's a big buff. So his attack decreased to 70, down from 85. That doesn't matter at all. And then the Wave of Despair and Reign of Terror multiplier slightly decreased to fit the changes to his defensive stat. That makes sense there. So he's much faster, much more defense. His DPS still ought to be around the same because of the DPS decrease on the multipliers. But overall, I think that Solus is it's a really welcome buff to Solus. I love to see that speed increase. I wish they would do it with more kind of OG champions in the game, thinking, like Robar. Exemplar, one of the worst. I've always said she's the worst, or up there with Void Epic Champions. Effect added to the A1 when ascended. If the attack is critical, it will increase one of the target's skill cooldowns by 2 turns. If the target is under weakened, it will increase the skill cooldown to maximum. All right, right? On the pincer attack, that's the poison, or not the poison, excuse me, that's the weaken ability. Debuff chance increased to 75%, so that will land at 100% weaken on her A2 now. And then capture cooldown from 5 to a 4. Single target capture, I don't know. Overall, I'm not really keen on Exemplar, even with the buffs. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Rowan now has a debuff chance increase. This is our poison ability, the Blade Surge. Debuff chance increased to 100% when booked. Right now, it's 75% when booked. Again, Rowan, it's not a game changer for me. I wish, reading through all of these epics before the video, obviously, I wish they had gone a little bit further on some of these, but, let's keep reading. Towering Titan, on the A1, damage will be based on HP. So on the A2, same thing. Damage will now going to be based on HP. I think this is a good move on Towering Titan. He has a high base HP anyway. Makes a lot of sense. Attacks 4 times at random. Places a Provoke debuff on the first hit. Has an additional 50% chance to place Provoke debuff on subsequent hits. I think it's a solid buff, but at the same time, I don't think it's, 4 times at random. It really, to me, on Towering Titan, needs to be an AoE, with power creep being a thing in the game right now. We have so many AoE provokers, a lot of them on 3-turn cooldowns, that it doesn't excite me having a 4-time at random with a chance at provoking. Shield duration increased to 3 turns. When ascended, the skill will grant the champion an extra turn on Bullish Vitality. Now, that is a good one. So I think that Towering Titan, especially with the granting an extra turn in the 3-turn on the shield, on a self-shield, I think that's a really nice big buff. But again here, he's not a consistent provoker because it's 4 times at random. I don't know, guys. What do you think? What do you think? I'm still not sold on Towering Titan. I wish I could say I was. I wish I could sit here and be like, they're all amazing. I do think the legendary buffs are amazing, so I'm happy about that. But Sawai Firstborn, another really, really crappy Barbarian Void epic champion. Utter Rampage, skill reworked, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a decreased attack debuff, cooldown 4 turns. That is good. And then we have skill upgrades, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6. What I'm going to do is actually pull up Sawai Firstborn because I actually forgot the Utter Rampage ability. All right, guys, so it's her A2. It used to be attack one enemy and then attacks all enemies with the second hit. If the attack is critical, the hit deals 80% of the damage inflicted from the first hit. That hit will always be a normal hit. I really didn't like this one at all. It did 80% damage on a 5.9 multiplier, though, which was pretty good. Shout out to Ayumi Love for their multipliers now included on all their champion guides. But, you know, overall, I don't know, guys. What do you think? Is this like a game changer to you, this ability? To me, again, I don't know. I think she's a little bit still going to be underwhelming. Attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff. Cooldown 4 turns. And then we have her deaden reactions, cooldown decreased to 4 turns down from 5. And again, that used to be, it's just an attack one enemy. Before attacking has a 75% chance of placing a weaken. So to me, doesn't really excite me. I wish that wasn't the case, but it doesn't really excite me on Sawai Firstborn either. Broadmaw. Debuff chance increased to 35% on the A1. Hail, I believe that's a freeze, whatever. Gift, added effect, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. It's right now just crit rate, I believe. It's not that great of an ability, but I love the turn meter increase added to it. Resurrect has been put down to 6 turns from a 7. That brings it down, I believe, to a 4 when booked. And then Aura, increase ally defense by 33 in Faction War Crypts. I think Broadmaw is, you know, he's about as bad as you can get for an epic reviver, but this makes him quite a bit better with the turn meter increases. At least he's bringing something to the table. So I think that, you know, for me, the litmus test is always would I build these champions out on my free-to-play account. And I gotta admit, guys, I'm kind of on the fence. You guys know there's one thing about me. I'm very, very picky in the champions I invest in. I think it's a big mistake to invest in champions just because they got a buff, right? And for me, all of these epic buffs, just kind of going through them. Exemplar, Rowan, Towering Titan, Sawai Firstborn, Broadmaw, and then we have Beard Owl, Fellhammer, and Whisper. Let's just go through them all, but spoiler alert here. And I might be wrong, I very well could be, because odds are at least one of these champions will find it useful in some area. But just on first glance, I personally think I'm underwhelmed. I'm underwhelmed with all of the epics, and I'm really overwhelmed in positivity with all the legendary buffs, right? Isn't that the way? Beard Owl, Fellhammer, base stats decreased, defense increased, HP slightly decreased, and then we have the skill upgrade adjusted on his ensorcelled axe. Is that a word, bro? Sorry, guys. Then we have Fade Protection. Effect added has a 75% chance of placing a decreased defense debuff if the target is already under a heal reduction. I don't like the qualifier buffs or debuffs either. So overall, I think that Beard Owl Fellhammer, again, will be slightly better, you know, which is better than nothing, right? Then we have Whisper. Effect added will also have a 30% chance increased crit rate, or 30% increased crit rate buff on this champion on Charge Assault. And then Unyielding Flurry will be reduced from a 6 to a 5 turn cooldown. Again, on Whisper, I think she's a solid champion, but nothing really to write home about. I would not invest in her on my free-to-play, even with this buff. She hits really hard, but there's a lot of conditions on Whisper, right? You need to, you know, have certain debuffs on, and I'm just not a big fan of that. There's other champions that I would rather invest in that are so unconditionally useful inside the game. So before we jump into these AI improvements, guys, I just wanted to note here, is there any champion, any Void, Epic, or Legendary, or heck, Rare champion? They didn't touch any Rares. They're like, forget the Rares. We don't even bother with those anymore. Is there any champion that you would have loved to see a buff to that wasn't included on the list? For me, it's Baron. Baron is on paper, he's right there. He's so close to being a really good champion. However, for me, I would love to see that Sky Piercer secret skill. I would love to see secret skills reworked to where once they're unlocked, you can use them throughout the duration of the battle. You know what I'm saying? Think of it this way. Same thing with Mortu Macabre, right? Because if Baron, you unlock his secret skill, or Mortar Macabre, you unlock their secret skill, and you happen to be at the end of a wave where you don't need, you know, Sky Piercer, the best ability in the game, the AoE attack, ignore all defense, you want to keep it until the next wave. You want to keep it until the boss or whoever you're trying to kill. I would love to be able to keep, once you unlock the ability, it's open until you use it, and then you have to unlock it again. It shouldn't go away after your next turn. That's the change that I would make to, you know, to Baron and to Mortar Macabre and, you know, those secret skill ability champions. To me, it's not a huge buff, but it makes them a little bit more compelling. You can choose when you use it. Once you unlock it, you choose when you use it. So guys, as I said, we also have some AI improvements. Sify will now prioritize her A2 Whirlwind Romance. We'll have, let's see, Silda Drakes will now prioritize her stun when there are 2 or more enemies alive. We'll have Mountain King will always prioritize targets with block damage buff when using the Regal Force. That's good news. And then Tyrell, actually, will prioritize his Humble skill when fighting the Fire Knight whenever the Cloak of Fire Shield is active. That's good. And he'll no longer use his A3 Preemptive Strike skill in clan boss battles. So that's pretty good. Maneater will target the Spider when using his Siphon skill. That's really good for Spider's Den as well, even though for floors 20 to 25, it won't really matter now, will it? We can't steal much turn meter when we can only steal 10%. So guys, that's all I have for you guys. Sorry for not editing this video, making it more entertaining for you guys, but I just wanted to get this out as soon as possible. Let me know again what you think of the balance changes, what you think of the arena news. Overall, I'm pretty happy. You know, a lot of champions they could have done better with on the epic front, in my opinion, and it was sad to see no rares included. I really would have loved to see some rare voids buffed because, I don't know, I mean, there's a lot of rare voids who are subpar in this game. And what are we doing? Just ignoring rare champions like they don't exist? There's a lot of people who rely on rares, and there's a lot of really good rare champions already out there. So I'm really disappointed they decided not to include rare champions on this Void rebalancing. But other than that, again, happy with the arena fix. We'll see what it is, but happy with arena fix coming to the game. We're going to see a bunch of new champions coming to the game as well. So again, stay tuned here to the channel for all these news on all these updates, all these new champions, all these rebalancings, and much, much more. Guys, thank you for watching all the way till the end, and as always, take care, guys.